Today we have Aaron on the show, a blue belt who happens to be a police officer. As he enters my guard, I can feel that he wants to knee slide, which is why I prioritize managing the distance, keeping his hips away from my hips. I do so using my reverse De La Riva hook and my foot on a hip. I wouldn't mind him getting close if I felt like I could get an underhook on him. But with him dominating that inside space with his right arm, I feel like me getting an underhook is unlikely. However, a mistake that he makes is dropping down to his knees, as this makes it easier for me to attack him just in general, and I do so by attacking the loop choke. However, Aaron's awareness keeps him safe as he postures up before I can secure it. This is in contrast to when he was a white belt, where he didn't quite have that awareness. It's really cool to see that awareness develop. Again, Aaron is on his knees, which is why I was able to hit this easy butterfly sweep. And notice how I keep his leg elevated as I come up on top. This is so he couldn't get his feet or his knees to the mat before I could. When sweeping, you want to prioritize keeping your opponent's feet off the mat so they can't just get right back up and negate the sweep. I'm actually having a relatively difficult time passing. I'm trying to hit a side smash, but Aaron is doing a good job framing to keep my weight off of him. I'm exploring different options, but I can't quite beat that frame until I transition to tripod passing. With tripod passing, the priority is pinning the guard player's shoulders to the mat. This severely reduces their offense, and I finish the pass with a backstep. Aaron is doing the exact right thing that he should be doing when the pass is happening and he's unable to stop it. He's improving the positioning of his arms, ensuring that I can't position my arms underneath his elbow or control his head. Because of this, I can't get to his shoulders to pin them, so I direct all my attention to pinning his hips instead. Aaron is overall doing a good job with the grip fight, but he missed the opportunity to use a long frame to escape, as when I passed my arm to the other side of his head, he could have tried to frame on my tricep, like you see me do here. I start to transition to north-south, and notice how as I do, I block Aaron's hips by using my right arm as a wedge. This keeps his hips where they are as I move, which is evident by the fact that when I take my hand away, he's able to move his hips. But I manage to stay in front of his knees, which prevents him from regarding. One mistake that Aaron is making is letting his elbows flare away from his body. I need that elbow separated from his body to go for submissions such as Americanas and arm bars. And as he turns, he exposes his right elbow to me, and I capitalize by entering a near side armbar. But with the way he's taking defensive grips, it's relatively easy for me to bend his wrist for the old dirty wrist lock, another submission that you need the elbow to control to hit. A big part of Jiu-Jitsu are relationships that we make and hear about on the mats. And in my time training, I've heard about a lot of different types of relationship issues, both in friendships and romantic relationships. Some people have issues telling others how they really feel. Some feel anxious about not doing the right thing, while some just don't feel as if they're invested enough with the other person. And some feel like a lot of their conversations with others turn into arguments. This has often been the case for me when I was younger, as I enjoyed debating others and proving my point with as much proof as possible. Relationships aren't easy, trust me, you're not alone. And BetterHelp, the paid partner of this video, can connect you with a therapist who can help you find answers to some of your toughest relationship questions. Instead of trying to answer those questions for yourself, you can talk through relationship concerns with someone who is trained to help you find real answers. BetterHelp carefully ensures that therapists on the platform are well qualified and their customer support team is there to help you if you have any questions. It is fully online, making therapy more comfortable and more convenient. Fill out a questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple days. Going to therapy is a sign of strength, not weakness. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/JTJJ to get 10% off your first month of therapy. We start again, and Aaron starts attempting an arm weave pass. And I know he needs a collar grip to complete the pass, which is why I control that arm to prevent him from gripping. This is what he was trying to do. This is an arm weave pass, but I only have a no-gi clip. Here the head is a substitute for the collar. Eventually he gets a hold of the collar grip, and now I'm at a much higher risk of getting my guard passed. So I respond by positioning my left arm to the inside. This enables me to more easily turn and get to my knees. Right now, I'm taking more of a wrestling approach to guard retention. I know his options are primarily to put me back on my back or to put his chest on my back for a back take. I know it'll be hard for him to get me on my back, and once I have control of his leg, he no longer has the mobility to easily take my back. And the more base I build, the safer and more mobile that I am. Once I get a strong grip on his leg, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. A strong grip in this situation is his thigh tight to my chest. Now I just pull his leg out from underneath him. However, there is risk of getting my back taken, as well as risk of the crucifix, especially in the gi where it's harder to slip out of risky positions. So I jump to the other side, yet not as gracefully as I would have liked to. I would have preferred to land on my feet to avoid a potential scramble, but I win the scramble before it even starts by prioritizing getting my hips higher than Aaron's hips. And right now I'm in this over-under type position as it gives me very powerful control over his hips and thus over his mobility. I go from over-under to double over so I can smash his knees together and step over them to enter into mount. And now I'm just focusing on keeping his legs straight so he can't bend his knees, which would make it easier for him to position his knees back in front of me. I'm focusing on control of his hips as I don't have control of his shoulders. And because of that lack of control of his shoulders, he's able to rotate his torso. Rotating can help facilitate escapes, but it can also lead to back exposure. His back is no longer hidden by the mat. So I hop around him and take his back. But instead of putting my hooks in low to control his hips, I keep them high to control his shoulders. This makes it easier for me to enter right into upper body submissions. I enter the armbar, but I'm also leaving the triangle on the table as another option in case it presents itself. Unfortunately, I didn't do good enough of a job keeping Aaron's back on the mat as he postures up and gets to his knees, where it'll be easier for him to defend. He's stacking me, which really controls the mobility of both my hips and my shoulders, but he's not overstacking and putting pressure on my neck, which I appreciate. He pulls his arm out of the triangle, and for a moment I think about the no arm triangle, but I've never actually hit one before, and figured now might not be the best time to try to figure it out right here on the spot. He starts to finish the stack pass, but I'm ready. I know my best option is going to be to frame on his tricep. Whether it be a double underpass or a failed triangle, this defense is a great way to deal with either. I would like to flip Aaron over my body like you see me do here. But Aaron isn't committing enough weight to me to make that happen. He's being cautious, and rightfully so. So instead I sit through to my guard, which worked great, but it was definitely less visually appealing. To get an underhook, I pull Aaron to my left across my body. This forces him to post out to stay on top, but posting out gives me the space that I need to take an underhook. Now I just need to pull his left arm towards my body so that he can't post with it. I get the sweep and pass with some more tripod passing. Notice how this time he doesn't do as good of a job as before repositioning his arms to a safer position. I easily take and keep this underhook. I initially grab his head for a crossface, but I see the opportunity to staple his arm. So I step over his arm so my knee is on one side and my toes are on the other. This really pins his shoulder to the mat. With the underhook on one arm and the staple on the other, Aaron's neck is left quite vulnerable. So I grab his lapel, making sure I get a deep grip, and then step over his head for what is called a canto choke. My hamstring pushes his neck into my wrist, and my collar grip pulls my wrist into his neck. It's a dual motion like the majority of chokes. And it's a good thing for Aaron that I shower before every single class. Myself and Jeff Chan, also known as MMA Shredded, are hosting an MMA training retreat in Nice, France. 7 days, June 29th to July 6th, 2025. He'll be teaching the striking and I'll be teaching the grappling. It's going to be a great time and I hope to see you there. Alright, thank you for sticking around till the end of the video. If you're still here, please leave a comment or a fist bump and I'll see you guys next time.